Jaguars, baby. And we gotta keep it hype.
Keep it hype.
Represent it for life. You know how we do it. Woo! Hey! Jacksonville Jags. We don't mean to brag, but when we on the field, we got it in the bag. Jacksonville Jags. You know how we ball. Best believe it. Got the people screaming out, Duval. Jacksonville Jags. We don't mean to brag, but when we on the field, we got it in the bag. Jacksonville Jags. You know how we ball. Best believe it. Got the people screaming out, Duval. Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars. Too much for your crew.
And what is going on, everybody? Welcome into the channel. We got Club Jaguar, your favorite Jaguars live show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, right here every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We definitely envisioned more fun times over here, but the Jaguars are 2-7. Obviously, not a lot is going good for the Jaguars right now, but there is still a lot to talk about, and maybe January and February are very eventful for us, maybe in not the ways that we wanted it to be, but they might be eventful. So we'll get into talk about the Eagles game, talk about, maybe some coaching candidates, and honestly, maybe wherever the live chat takes us, guys, if you guys have any burning questions, I mean, definitely let us know. We'll try to get to some comments today, but do want to let you guys know that this stream and all these streams are powered by BetUS. If you guys go over there, man, they are offering a 150% sign up bonus using promo code YouTube150, and on your second and third deposit you'll get a 125% deposit bonus up to $2,000. And be sure to gamble responsibly. So we'll bring in a couple of our hosts. First up, we'll bring in Jordan DeLuga. What up, Jordan?
Yo, fired up for another awesome week of Jaguars football.
Hey, it's enthralling, it's entertaining. We're finding different ways to lose. Okay, that's been the theme of the season, and it's definitely intriguing to see how we can blow these different games. But yeah, we'll get all into that. Next up, we're going to bring in Jason from Jaguars United. What up, Jason?
What's up, guys? Thought maybe we could go around the room, say who we voted for, how we voted on Amendment 3 and 4, maybe,
Dude, it was it's some weird times right now. It's some weird times, I'll say. I know I dipped my feet into the political stuff on Twitter today. It's fun. I like to share my thoughts, and hey, if you don't like it, hey, we all have the liberty to get the hell out. That's how it goes, man.
Unfollow button. Actually. Yeah.
Plenty of people hit it today, so appreciate that. But yeah, hopefully everybody's okay after it. We will all survive, and we will move forward. But with all that said, the Jaguars just played a football game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Definitely a weird one. The Jaguars were down 16-0 in the first half. The Jaguars had like 1 first down versus the Eagles 10 first downs. Time of possession was basically, I think it was Eagles, like it was basically 2-1. The Eagles basically doubled up our time of possession. We couldn't do anything. And all of a sudden, the second half, scored a touchdown. Then all of a sudden, the refs gifted us a touchdown with the Saquon Barkley fumble. To me, I don't know how that was a touchdown, but they gave it to us, which, hey, we'll take all the lucky breaks that we can get. And then, we made it a game. I mean, Trevor Lawrence had the ball driving downfield with a chance to win it. Unfortunately, he made a pretty bad throw to our third-string running back. Just a weird, unfortunate situation. And we were going to try to score a touchdown, leaving a lot of time on the clock. But, I guess we'll get into all that. But I guess we'll go around the room. Jordan, coming off this game, I guess just give us your overall thoughts about it.
Yeah, so when I first saw that play, I did think it was just maybe not the best ball placement and damn good play by Nakobe Dean. But, after talking to Doug Peterson about it and reviewing it, I think it was just a god-awful decision and play call and play design. Like, they said that was part of their game plan. That was part of their red zone package. And that's what they wanted to get to, was a shot down the field to your third string running back in a key moment in the game. That's what they wanted. And it looked like Dearness Johnson, just catch point, didn't have a chance against Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it played out. And I just, that's baffling to me that's what you're dialing up when you have Evan Ingram, when you have Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah. It's a little wild, and I definitely have my thoughts. Jason, what are your thoughts coming off this game?
I mean, at least if we're losing every game, we're at least making it entertaining, right? There's been years and years around here where we'd roll into Sunday and at halftime we'd go cut the grass or take a nap or whatever it is. And so at least we are making the games entertaining, which kind of leads me to believe that we have like pieces on this team. So if we do kind of overhaul the front office and the coaching staff, the cupboards aren't bare. So that's the good news there. Obviously, that 2-point conversion play is kind of, or not the 2-point conversion play, the end of the game play is kind of baffling because didn't we convert 2-point conversions in that game? So, like, we have good plays that we ran. I think one was to Brian Thomas, and I think one was to Evan Ingram. Like, those plays worked. You needed one play to work. You got you in the end zone. Like, where was that play in that situation? And I think anybody who's fired up Madden one time could have told you with that much time on the clock, that close to the end zone, run the ball and see what you can get on the ground. Let the clock run a little bit. And then that way, if you do score, you are not giving the Eagles a bunch of time at the end of the game. And you have a chance to maybe catch them off guard with a run play, a draw or something like that, even a Trevor Lawrence draw, something like that. There's so many options. And somehow we chose the bad one. And that's just indicative of this coaching staff. Happens every week. We've been talking about it every week, but it was just horrible there at the end of the game.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now, if they would have scored that, say Dearness Johnson makes a great play, Eagles win that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bottom line.
That's the crazy thing about it, because like, when I'm coming off this game, it's like, man, like, come on, like, got to make a better throw. Like, I'm like just annoyed at all the execution. The further away I got from the game, I was like, what the hell are we doing? First of all, like, when you go into this game, Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis are both out. Okay. And all of a sudden, look, Brian Thomas Jr. is active. So what, like, he's going to be the guy this game. He got 4 targets and 2 receptions. I mean, how do you not make, like, and I put this on Twitter earlier, like, he's currently leading what rookies and receiving yards, and I feel like he's doing that without even trying. Like, it's like he needs to have a game where just the Jaguars target him 12 times and you're throwing all these 50-50 balls to him. You're trying to design plays to get him in space, and man, like, we have such a special play in our hands, and you're out here basically letting Trammell have the same amount of receptions as him. Just, I understand he's a little bit hurt, but if you're active and you're playing in this game, then you're a full go for me. I mean, you gotta get him targets, and just the fact that he wasn't a part of this game plan at all was just extremely crazy to me. And yeah, like the fact, the defense is still puzzling. I mean, I see Foye Oluokun running off the field. I don't know why. I'll never understand this. And look, we can only complain about that so much because we won't have Ryan Nielsen next year. We're almost guaranteed, for me, we're going to have a brand new coaching staff, and the question mark really is whether Balky hangs around. So, we'll complain about that every week, whatever. But also just, the fact that at the end of the game, like, of all the qualified people on this planet that can be running that route that Dearness Johnson is making, why is it Dearness Johnson that is out there running the route, and he's the primary read, and he's the guy that's going for it? And if you're throwing that ball to a wide receiver, one thing that wide receivers do when there is a bad throw, they turn into a defensive back, okay? And they go out there and they try to make a play on a ball to where it's not intercepted, and he just kind of flails out there. And it's I don't understand the coaching. I also don't understand why, like, you're trying to strike so quick, because you're giving the Eagles the ball back with so much time. And against this Jaguars defense is not clutch, okay? Very rarely do they make a big play when you absolutely need a big play, especially at the end of the game. You saw the Packers, what they did to us, and it's a common theme with this team. And yeah, it's just, it doesn't feel like, the coaching staff and the offensive coaching staff really helps out Trevor Lawrence a lot. It feels like they're trying to play their game, and they're trying to kind of make Trevor Lawrence and the offense fit it. And I don't know. It's just, the coaching is bad, and I can't believe we're in the situation where we're 2-7 and we have, we're just waiting for the day that the domino falls where, somebody is fired, because now 2 head coaches are gone. You had Robert Saleh earlier in the year, and now Dennis Allen was, I believe, fired this last Sunday or Monday. So, at some point, it's very well when you look at the, lines out there. Doug Peterson is basically guaranteed to be the next to go, and it just depends on when. Does it take a blowout? Is it going to be, 2 losses in a row, but then a bye week hits and he's out? Who knows? But those are just kind of some of my thoughts.
I mean, it makes no sense to put Dearness Johnson even in that situation. Like, yeah, we could blame him for not playing defensive back on that play, but he's a third string running back. Like, I don't expect him to do that. It was baffling to me. Like, I don't know if Doug was just coming out trying to protect Trevor by saying that was the play call in the primary read, but it was obviously Trevor's primary read and his only read on that play.
Doug never protects Trevor.
Well, he has a history of protecting his players. So,
No,
I mean, there's
not
a chance.
Trevor Lawrence.
He has a history of protecting his coordinator.
He literally, at every opportunity he has, in my opinion, he takes shots versus protecting Trevor. I don't think that's what he was doing.
And for me, it just doesn't feel like he ever lifts up Trevor. Like maybe not putting down Trevor, but he never lifts him up, it feels like. It's weird. It really is weird, just this relationship.
I mean, the catch that Evan Ingram made last week in the back of the end zone, like, that's the guy you want to throw the ball to in that situation. Yeah. He made an incredible catch where he hung in the air for 30 seconds. Like, that's who you throw the ball to in that situation.
Yeah.
That was actually
him or BT, bottom line.
That was very mind-blowing. And I'm someone that you guys know, I'm defending coaches till the bitter end. I always say it's Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's. But that's a situation where it's like, that's not even excusable, defensible. There's nothing you can say about that. It was just terrible all the way around.
And in what world? I don't see a world where it's like the Jaguars win off of a game-winning touchdown from Dearness Johnson. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like something that would happen.
and I mean, not to just beat a dead horse, but like, your opening script is supposed to be your best plays of the game. Like, how often do we see teams go down the field on the first drive of the game with their opening script, score a touchdown, then they don't score the rest of the game? Like, that happens like often. We're like the opposite. Like, when we go into no huddle mode and we go into improv mode, then we start playing well. Like, something's wrong there, and something's just completely backward there.
And also, if you're noticing, the Jaguars are deferring a lot, so they're getting the ball to start the second half. They don't ever do anything with the ball. It's usually 3 and out. Like,
and they usually give up points on the first drive too. So it's like double. What are we doing?
And just the I don't think there were that many pre-snap penalties last game, but there's just so many times where there's coaching issues, and
if there's not pre-snap penalties, there's drops.
Yeah, and there are a lot of miscommunications last game, which I don't know if that's coaching as much as just brand new receiving core. You saw Parker Washington do it a couple times, but you just don't have. I thought
Parker there.
I thought Trevor's best throw was that one to Trammell later in the game that he threw it kind of awkwardly and it hit him in the hands, but it was just a tough catch to make. But it was really good ball placement. But I don't know. It's just things aren't good right now. Things aren't good. But are you guys? Because I know because I do my live reactions, and I see a lot of people talking down on Trevor, wanting to put Mac Jones. Are you guys? What's your stance on Trevor? Are you still as confident as ever, or are you having a little bit of question marks, especially after kind of the game, I guess, losing throw where he got the ball intercepted?
No, I have no problem with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, could he be playing better than he is right now at times? Yeah. You could say that about every single player on this football team. And I think that's a sign of a poorly coached team, a team that, despite what they might say on the outside, like, it is not going well inside that building right now. Mm-hmm. It's obvious. I think, and I've talked about this, front office, coaching staff, players, nobody is on the same page right now. And I honestly believe when you heard, gosh, maybe after week 4 that, there was some players that were out on Doug and he was losing the locker. I think it was true. I absolutely do. And I think it's clear as day. This team it's not a team right now. And so Trevor Lawrence, Is he doing everything he can to put this team on his back for the most part? Yeah. I mean, he can't do it all, though. He absolutely can't, especially not when you have again, coaching staff that doesn't have their ducks in a row. Pretty poorly offensive game plans, pretty poor offensive game plans. It's just he's been put in a bad situation yet again. And for the most part, throughout last year, he was able to overcome that bad situation until he got injured. And this year, I still think he's played winning football in 6 games. I think he played winning football against the Eagles, winning football against the Bears, Dolphins, and one other game that they lost, and then the 2 games that they won. They would have no chance of winning the 2 games that they won without Trevor Lawrence in those games. So I think he's playing good football.
How about you, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still young. I know he's been in the league for a while, but look at his age-wise, he's still very young. The reality of it is if the Jags cut Trevor Lawrence, there'd be 15 teams trying to sign him. It's like, and when you talk to outside people that know football, they're like, yeah, Trevor Lawrence has all the intangibles. He has everything he needs to make the throws. He's still learning the game. He's had kind of a go of it with coaches and coordinators, but does he struggle with inconsistency? Yeah, he does. But that's the issue with the entire team and that's what I think fans get kind of caught up in is like, these aren't bad football players. Like they're all really good. They made it to the NFL, but to be a good NFL player, you have to be consistent, like 90% of the time. So like, we'll see these guys that we like, that we all vouch for. They'll pop off for a play here and there. And we're like, okay, see, they're good. They have the talent. They can make the play. They made this play. They're really good. But everyone in the NFL is really good. What separates the elite are the ones that do it consistently every single play. So that's the problem with this team is there's good players. They're just incredibly inconsistent. And that's just the biggest issue with the team. And people have to separate. Like Foye Oluokun did not have a good game. Like go back and watch in the film. And I don't even know what he graded out at, but like a lot of missed tackles, a lot of bad angles, was not good. And he pops off, makes good plays. He was inconsistent. Devin Lloyd had a bunch of good plays, but he had a bad one against Jalen Hurts who got outside the pocket. So it's like we struggle with consistency. I know that's a tangent off of Trevor Lawrence, but Lawrence is the least of my worries on this team. And regardless, we're tied to him for a long time. So I know we say this all the time, but this conversation is almost pointless to have because we have no other options but to him to be our quarterback.
Yeah.
And I hate to even end it that way just because, like, you're right. Absolutely. But no one should be feeling that way. Like, he is one of the reasons for optimism with this franchise.
Right.
He's one of the reasons that whoever is the next head coach is going to be the next head coach because they're going to want to work with him.
Yeah. No, he's going to be the biggest selling point to whoever the next head coach is. And when you actually look at this offensive breakdown, like Evan Ingram, 10 targets, 5 receptions. I mean, he was dropping balls like crazy at the end of the game. And I also think, maybe the refs could have assisted us with a couple of, pass interferences. But, he had himself 2 interceptions. One of them literally came because ETN tipped the ball up and caused the interception. He's throwing to guys like, Parker Washington, Austin Trammell. I just, without Trevor Lawrence, I mean, what offensive player actually played good? Your running backs combined for 52 yards rushing. You go on the other end, Saquon Barkley had 159 yards rushing, including a backwards hurdle, which was nasty. Also, Jalen Hurts got 67 yards on the ground. Trevor Lawrence also had 2 rushing touchdowns this game. So I don't know. And I caused a lot of controversy on my live stream because I said, when Trevor Lawrence, it looked like, he was being evaluated for concussion. I pretty much said that, if Trevor Lawrence is hurt, might as well lose this game because I think it's pointless to win with Mac Jones. I'd rather win with Trevor Lawrence on a game-winning drive. And then people are like, oh, you're not a Jags fan. You're just a Trevor Lawrence fan. No, it's like, I want to win every game. Like I do. I'm cheering for the Jaguars to win, but also there's a cost to every win. If the Jaguars won that game, you're picking number 10 overall in the draft. The Jaguars lose that game, you're number 2 overall in the draft. Okay. So as much fun it is to win, there is a prize at the end of the rainbow. And if we are in a situation where we do clean house, if you're selling this job to anybody, to any GM, you want to get the best GM out there, he's going to weigh all the options. Okay, you have Jacksonville, you have Dallas, you have all these different things. You're going to look at the quarterbacks. You're also going to look at the draft spot. And if you're drafting, say, number 2 overall, that's a lot more attractive than like number 10 overall. So all these things come into play. I'm not rooting for the Jaguars to lose, but I will say, like, I feel like it's almost pointless if you're because I said now, like, because obviously the Jaguars are out of the playoff run. My whole goal on the season is to watch Trevor Lawrence play good and watch our young players play good. Okay, I want to see Brian Thomas Jr., Tank Bigsby, all these guys pop off. And that's what's kind of funny when you go back to the Jets 2020 tank where they ruined it. So many Jets fans were mad because that tank was ruined by Sam Darnold, who was not going to be on the Jets next year, and Frank Gore, who was obviously playing on his last year of his NFL career. So that's just my stance. I don't know. Like I am operating on the sense that we will clean house. We will have a new GM. We will have a new head coach. So I want to think what makes this team the most attractive. And I think obviously the better draft spot is going to make this team more attractive.
That's true. But at the same time, I don't think you really need to worry about where they're going to be drafting. It's going to be close to the top. This is not a year where you need the number 1 pick or number 2 pick. You don't need your quarterback. There's not a quarterback to be had in this draft that's worth taking that high, in my opinion. There's a couple guys that could be and end up being really good quarterbacks, but obviously that's not where the Jaguars are going anyways. But there's not like, I mean, I like guys at the top of this draft. Do I like them a lot more than the guys that are going to be there 7 to 10, that range? Not really. I don't think this is a draft with that many superstars at the top. I do have rankings, right? Like there are guys I have ranked higher, but I think if you're sitting in between 5 and 10, you're going to get yourself a damn good football player in this draft.
How many, because you've looked at the draft obviously way more than me. I was just kind of eyeballing it. How many quarterbacks do you see going in the top 7? Because to me, I see a bunch of quarterbacks going in the top 7.
So right now, I don't know if Milroe's going to leave for the draft or not. I think that one's a question mark. And if he does, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting the next 5
years.
years. It'll be interesting the next 5 years how much quarterbacks evaluate NIL versus situation where they might get drafted into. That's one to definitely look out for.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on.
And he needs more seasoning for sure. If he got drafted, he should not start right away. Cam Ward probably is QB1 for me. I mean, he's QB1 for me, and he's flawed. He's extremely flawed. He needs to play less hero ball. He needs to grow within the structure of an offense. Going 1, 2, 3, getting through your reads within the pocket, maneuvering the pocket, not just playing kind of backyard football. But he's incredible. I don't think Carson Beck is going to go that high. I think Shedeur Sanders could. If I had to guess, I think it would be Sanders and Ward at the top of this draft right now. And I don't know for sure that they're both going top 7.
What? I can see them going 1, 2 if the Jags aren't.
That would surprise me.
I mean, quarterbacks, man, they get pushed up a lot. And I mean, like the Titans, you don't think the Titans are coming away without a quarterback if they're drafting in the top 5. There's certain teams out there, if they're drafting there, they're definitely coming away with a quarterback, in my opinion.
I think this class is as flawed as it gets at the top.
Yeah.
I really do with quarterback. I mean, y'all are right. Obviously, teams push quarterbacks up the board all the time, but there's not really a guy that I would have a solid round 1 grade on right now.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Well, we'll see. We'll see where the Jaguars end up. So I do want to ask this question though. So, like, how many games left do you guys think Doug Peterson has? Like, do you think that he's like a blowout away from getting fired? Do you guys think that they may wait for the bye week? Do you think that it's Black Monday at the end of the season type of thing? Or do you think that, I don't think any of us think he survives? I guess what's y'all's pulse on like when moves actually start to be made? Because at this point, we're in November. There's already 2 head coaches fired. At this point, we're just kind of wondering when.
I I mean, if I had to guess, I would say Black Monday, but if they do get blown out these next 2 games, which wouldn't shock me, maybe you could see the bye week.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Week 12, after week 11, bye week. Give the interim, whoever it is, a week to kind of get in there. Because like you said, Dalton, at that point you kind of don't want to win games. I mean, you want your nucleus to play well, but winning games kind of hurts you for the future. That
And you
probably
just need a
goes into
reset too. Like if
Yeah,
that
I mean,
happens,
yeah, and I mean, I see it happening at the bye week, and Shad Khan does fire people. He fired Urban Meyer in the middle of the season, and I know
Yeah.
that it's a different
with
situation.
cause.
Well, yeah, but like he does, he
He
does.
also fired Dave Caldwell randomly in the middle of December, which is funny to fire a GM at that time, but yeah, he was out of there.
Well, I mean, not to go off on a tangent, but like, hasn't it happened a lot? And I can't remember if we talked about this last week or not. I can't remember. I got election brain. Sorry. Don't a lot of teams keep their GM till after the draft and then fire them after the draft? Doesn't
I
that
think
happen?
only the Jets did that.
Was it just the Jets? I feel
Jets
like
did
I've
that
seen
with
it
Mike
happen.
McCagnon.
I don't think it happens a lot, but it does happen.
You think it's going to be a situation where they hold on? I mean, how entrenched Balky is. Is this a situation where they let Balky draft, especially with his recent history of kind of hitting on first-round picks and letting him make the first-round pick and then getting rid of him?
I don't
No,
think so. I don't think, because I think if you're in a situation where you do fire
'cause
the
that
head
means
coach,
you hired a coach
yeah,
with Balky still as your GM,
that means you're
and that's going to
hiring,
hamstring your ability to hire a coach.
like you're not getting a top head coach with Balky in the building. That's why I think
I
Balky is
don't think you're
gone.
getting a top head coach anyways.
I think Shad Khan's gonna laser in on somebody, and he's gonna make them say no. Like with Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was like, I think, the second highest paid head coach in the NFL when he got hired in. Like if Shad Khan wants somebody and he zeroes in on somebody, and clearly, and Shad Khan does care. Like he'll spend money to bring out a winning product out here. I know people debate like he doesn't care, he just cares about money. Like I do. He spends money. Okay, he's not Cincinnati's owner where they're just trying to pay the bare minimum. And I know I did see Dilla on Twitter. He did mention how like right now Ben Johnson, and take this for what you said, what you will. He did say that right now Ben Johnson is top 2 options. We're probably eyeing Jacksonville and Cincinnati because for some reason like he doesn't want to be in a big market. Don't know how true that is, but it is out there. And like if you're looking at these situations, like Shad Khan will pay whatever. Like he's not a cheap owner. And also you have Trevor Lawrence, who's a chess piece. I mean, I know there's some debate on who wants him and who doesn't, but I think there's a lot of offensive coordinators out there, head coaches, whatever, that will look at Trevor Lawrence and say, I can get the best out of him because he has all the tools. Okay, he has all the tools. It's just he needs to, have the right offense in play. They need to have somebody where, that the play caller and him can just click and they can get things together. So, and obviously you have, Brian Thomas, you have some pieces on here. So I don't think the Jaguars' job is necessarily unattractive. I mean, if you compare it to, I think the Jets' job, I think it's more attractive than the Jets' job. I think, there's a lot of, and I think it's mainly ownership. I think Shad Khan's a great owner to play for. He doesn't meddle. He gives you money to succeed. And I think hopefully Shad Khan lasers in on a head coach candidate and, maybe allows them a little bit of autonomy to bring in a guy that is like-minded with him, maybe bring someone over from their organization. I know a lot of people look at Detroit mainly with, Ben Johnson, but just bring someone in here where the coach and the GM are hired together and they can see things the same way, as opposed to just, bringing somebody in and trying to fit them into whatever Shad and the GM have going on. That's just my opinion.
No, absolutely, without question. They need to be in unison. The GM and coach have to be lockstep. Like they have to be, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, like that type of example of 2 guys that just care about winning and getting it done the right way. Whatever way that is for them. Like there's not one formula. There's not one way to do this, but the 2 guys at the top, they need to be pulling for each other.
Yeah.
I just don't see a situation where Ben Johnson picks Jacksonville over both New York jobs, Dallas, and New Orleans. Like that just I've been watching football long enough to know that doesn't typically happen. Like the top candidate doesn't typically go to the maybe fourth most attractive job. And we can talk about pieces that are here, but these coaches are prideful and arrogant. They're looking at the draft board saying, I'll draft Cam Ward, Shador Sanders. I'll bring him in. I'll make him into what I need him to be. I can turn these guys. I mean, there's all the same things we're talking about with the Jags having Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. and the pieces. Every team has pieces. And so like other teams are making the same argument. There's a lot of owners out there that are willing to open up the checkbook. And maybe I'm just being pessimistic, but I just don't see a situation where Ben Johnson picks Jacksonville over those other teams.
Yeah.
I think the difference with him is he is a different type of dude, obviously. He's had opportunities where owners have come at him with blank checkbooks and he's not wanted those jobs. And the difference is that Shad Khan's ownership and Trevor Lawrence. And so for me, what Dilla said makes sense. I don't know anything about it, but like having the quarterback makes sense. Having Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence versus going to New York where you have to find the quarterback, New Orleans where you have to find the quarterback. You're right. A lot of coaches do want to say, I'm going to go find my guy. But if you're saying as a betting man that Cam Ward or Shador Sanders is going to have a better career than Trevor Lawrence, I'll take that bet.
I'm not saying they'll have a better career, but we've seen worse quarterbacks than Trevor Lawrence in better systems be more successful. So
yeah,
like, no,
so why wouldn't? Yeah, I mean Jared Goff,
right?
Yeah, Jared Goff's the exact guy I look at.
So I think that we don't know. We honestly don't know what Ben Johnson is going to be looking for.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he turned down a lot of jobs last year. So we don't know. You're right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just like going off emotion, maybe.
No, yeah. And Jason, you're right about, I mean, most coaches in most situations would do exactly what you say they do. But when it comes to the individual person, obviously Ben Johnson has been turning away jobs. Like, I don't even know if he's been going on job interviews. Like, he wants to finish the job at Detroit. And
yeah, no, Washington thought they had him and he said no at the end. Carolina threw everything at him the year before that.
Said want to go there. Terrible team, terrible owner. Don't want to go there.
Yeah, and I mean Carolina was one of those teams that he had the opportunity to pick whatever quarterback he wanted there.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. So we'll see.
Yeah. So I know I haven't done too much research on, I guess, other head coach candidates, but I don't know for you guys, Jordan, I know you did a most recent video. Is there like a number 2 or number 3 guy that you may prefer? Because I know right now it seems like Ben Johnson is a big fish and there's almost like a big gap. And then there's the next kind of guys. But right now, everyone's talking about Ben Johnson. Can you maybe give us some other names?
Yeah, I mean, offensive guys. I love Joe Brady. I love what he's done. LSU, he got scapegoated in Carolina and then getting to work with Josh Allen. He's been fantastic. And he has such a great relationship with the quarterbacks he's worked with. I like that a lot. A lot of people in the chat talking about Liam Cohen. I like what he's done in Tampa, no doubt about it. I think he's an interesting guy. The thing that has given me pause about Liam Cohen is the fact that he was in Los Angeles and then had to go back to college to get back to the NFL. So that's my only little kind of question about that. Little interesting road to get where he is, but seems like a cool guy. Obviously doing great things with Baker Mayfield. Putting together a cohesive offense even without his top 2 receivers. So that's very impressive. See somebody bringing up the Atlanta coordinator, Zach Robinson, who came up through the Los Angeles Rams coaching tree and is now an offensive coordinator. That could be interesting. Certainly. I remember him playing college football, which is wild. Kellen Moore, I think, is interesting. So there's a lot of offensive guys. And then defensively, you could look at, who did I look at from a defensive perspective?
There's like Vrabel is one. I don't know if
Yeah,
you want to go
Vrabel
retread
worries me a
route.
little. Vrabel and Belichick worry me because I'm just a little bit nervous about what the heck they're going to do on offense.
Yeah.
Culture, defense, yeah, but that scares me a little bit. Yeah, so I'm drawing a blank on who I talked about defensively. I can't remember now, but I would want an offensive coach, not because you have to have that offensive coach, but it generally lends itself to longer sustained success when you have an offensive coach that can have that kind of mind meld with your quarterback.
I got a name for y'all that no one's talking about. And I'll pride myself on
Press
this because
Taylor.
Press Taylor. I got a name for you. How about Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur? All
Hell
right.
yeah.
So Matt LaFleur's little brother, he's 37 years old. He's been with Kyle Shanahan everywhere. Got one shot in with the Jets as an
Yeah,
offensive
he got
coordinator.
scapegoated for the Jets.
Got scapegoated. He had Zach Wilson. He had all the terrible team around him. Got hooked back up with Shanahan and now with McVay. He gives me Kevin O'Connell vibes, and I was huge on O'Connell before anyone else was. And I'm not saying I like know stuff, but like I started looking through the
You
McVay
do know
trees,
stuff. What are you talking about?
You know
young
a
guys,
lot of stuff.
and so I'm a huge O'Connell fan. I think Mike LaFleur would be very similar. He's been passing game coordinator everywhere with Kyle Shanahan. He's been quarterbacks coaches with him. Like he's what like NFL teams are doing that are being successful. They're going and getting guys from the Shanahan McVay trees. They're plugging them in. They're working with the offense, and they're all just blowing up with the offense. I think that's exactly what Jacksonville needs. Now, would I prefer a Slowick? Would I prefer a Johnson? Yes, I would. But like I said, and again, I don't want to like seem like a negative Nancy. I just don't see those guys coming to Jacksonville. And maybe I'm being
I don't know that
naive.
Slowick's going to be as high on the list as he would have been.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
maybe.
Slowick's playing himself out of the like Houston fans are not liking him right now.
Yeah,
But
maybe. I mean, you got to think he's had some challenges this year with injuries to his skill positions.
also they have no offensive line either.
Yeah,
Houston has a terrible
but
O-line.
I mean, I still like
Yeah,
him.
but they have the talent at O-line. That's been bizarre.
Yeah, I mean they've had a lot of injuries to the wide receiver room. The running Mixon's been hurt a lot. Pierce was hurt.
Look at what Liam Cohen's doing with wide receiver injuries. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that's maybe I'm being pessimistic and naive. I'm thinking we got to aim our sights on a younger guy that not everyone's going after, just because of how many head coaching vacancies there could be next year. And I could be completely wrong, but to me, if you're gonna go get a guy who's in that like second tier of coaches, rather than a Belichick of Vrabel, I would rather go after a young guy in the Shanahan McVay tree and see what he can do with Trevor and give him a shot.
Yeah, and the reason so many of these guys are successful, not only learning under Shanahan and McVay, to be in that room, to earn their respect.
Yep.
Your mentals and your communication have to be off the frickin' charts.
Yep.
And your mind for the I don't know that people realize how intense it is in those coach rooms with McVay and Shanahan. And so you got to be like a psycho basically. And I think
if you listen to those two guys, those two guys are psychos. So like, to reinforce your point, to earn respect from two football psychos, you kind of have to be a little psycho yourself, which is why we're seeing them have success, I think. And again, maybe that's just me connecting dots that aren't there. But like I said, I'd rather go that route than the retreads in that second tier.
No, yeah, I'm right there with you because I know for me, obviously, I'd want Ben Johnson. I mean, I don't know what fan base out there that we're going to have a head coach vacancy that doesn't have Ben Johnson at the top of their list, but obviously only one team's going to get them. So if you are targeting a next, tier, our last three coaching hires have been 2 retreads and Urban Meyer. So I don't know if I want to dip my toes back into the retread pool. And that's nothing against Mike Vrabel, Brian Flores, nothing against Bill Belichick. Obviously, Bill Belichick obviously has all the Super Bowls. I just don't know if he's the right guy if we want sustained success here, if we want to hire a guy like that, especially in a role where, we talked a lot about Bill Belichick last week, but, so a
couple guys in the chat brought up defensive coaches that I did mention. Jesse Minter, who came from Michigan, now with the Los Angeles Chargers. I think he's absolutely on a rocket ship. He's going to be a head coach. Aaron Glenn, I think he's going to get his opportunity to be a head coach as well. The Detroit Lions defensive coordinator. And so those are two guys, if you do go the defensive route, I could understand, no doubt about it. So just wanted to, and I did mention those guys on the show the other day. So again, I would want offense. I just do. But if you did go get one of those defensive guys, and then maybe you brought in like a Clay Kubiak, who's not an offensive coordinator yet, but he is on the 49ers staff, and he's Clint Kubiak's brother and Gary Kubiak's son, another guy that, maybe something like that could work.
Would you guys give Cliff Kingsbury another shot?
Would not be that high on my
retread
list.
where he's also on the Venn diagram of like young and but also retread. He's an interesting spot.
He does a great job with that offense with Jaden Daniels, and he knows how to work with quarterbacks, but his time in Arizona was very uninspiring to me.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I mean, he's kind of a guy that's kind of carved a path with a different type of quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. So not saying he can't do it, but where we've seen him succeed is a dual threat guy who has a lot more options than, or I guess different options than Trevor Lawrence has as a quarterback. So that would just give me a little bit of hesitation, but definitely would not be a bad hire by any means, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The thing about him too is he's never won.
Yeah, exactly.
He has never won as a head coach. Been given many opportunities, and he's never done it.
Yeah, and he was there for several years too. It wasn't like he was like bad situation, one and done. I mean, it was, he had his time to go do his stuff and had them at a pretty good height at one point, and it's almost like, and then they just kind of nosedived. Yeah. No, they start off really strong and then nosedive.
I got a hypothetical for you guys. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I could okay, we'll give this a 0.01% of happen.
I got one too after you, okay?
Okay, hopefully it might be I don't know. We'll see if it's the same. Okay. Jags trade Trevor Lawrence, draft Shedeur Sanders. Would you take Coach Prime here?
No. I wouldn't personally. That's a fun hypothetical. I don't know. I don't know if Coach Prime is actually a good coach.
No, he's not.
He wins everywhere he goes. What do you mean?
Yeah, because he can.
Yeah, Colorado's on track to make the playoff, college football playoff.
I mean, they're doing good right now, but I feel like he's
riding
recruiter.
Shedeur's coattails. Shedeur and Travis.
He's a great recruiter, but you don't recruit in the NFL. Okay, you got to out scheme.
Don't you though?
I mean, dude, the what recruits people is the checkbook, bro. Unless you want to recruit 35-year-olds when they're on their last shot.
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance I would want that.
Just throwing it out there.
Somebody's saying, don't be racist, guys.
No. How about this one? How about here? I'm on the verge of not being racist. If the Jaguars had the number 5 overall pick, would you trade that for Mike Tomlin? I would.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't trade number 5 overall pick for Mike Tomlin?
Why? So we can go 9-8 every year?
Dude, when he's had good quarterback play, he's taken.
When he had a good quarterback, he was winning games and competing in the playoffs.
Every year, having like 14 maybe 13-3, 12-4 seasons. He was a beast, and then all of a sudden Ben Roethlisberger retired, and he obviously hasn't returned to those heights. What's he had?
I wasn't gonna say it, but how much of that success was with Ben Roethlisberger? So is it?
Yeah, but
when he had a good quarterback.
And he's still making the playoffs every year. He's been in the playoffs.
Ben Roethlisberger is not a good quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger was an elite quarterback.
But they haven't even had good quarterback play. They're finally had decent quarterback play this year, and I think they're set up with number 3 overall seed in the AFC.
So you're giving up the 5 pick to roll Mike Tomlin in with this team we have now.
Yes.
Yes, I would. And
he is just unbelievable culture guy. I'm here for it.
I would do it. What about? Are there any other coaches? I don't know if I would give up. Would you guys give up a number 5 overall pick for Sean McVay?
Yeah.
Yes.
You would. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think they would trade that.
Dude, no. I don't know. McVay.
Well, no. The Steelers wouldn't do it either.
Oh no, they wouldn't do it. I'm just saying it's a funny because obviously it doesn't happen much. I mean, the Denver traded a first and a second to go get Sean Payton.
And that didn't
Which
work out. The only time a trade for a coach has
They're
ever
doing
worked
decent.
out was when the Patriots traded for Belichick from the Giants.
Why are you
But
saying
didn't the
Sean
Bucks
Payton's
traded
not
for
working
the
out?
Bucks traded for John Gruden, won a Super Bowl.
Oh, I didn't know they traded for John Gruden.
Yeah,
They did. I think they traded a first round pick for him.
I think Peyton has Denver headed in the right direction.
I think so too. They've been competitive. They have a winning record right now. I think they have. I think they're in a playoff seed right now, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. They're on the verge of it. They're in the hunt, which is what the Jaguars aren't right now. Okay.
Yep.
We're not going to be in the hunt graphic come Thanksgiving. It's very sad times. We'll be like the still kind of alive, but are way out of it graphic. So I don't know. Some fun thing about, obviously, we're November 6th talked about head coaching candidates. Throw way crazy hypotheticals out there, but it's all good. It's all good. That's what we do. That's what we do with like a losing organization. So with all
I
that
think
said,
the most realistic thing is kind of Jason's idea. Not the Deion Sanders idea.
Shador Sanders.
Trade Trevor. You heard it here first. Jordan said trade Trevor.
No,
it.
but getting one of those McVay or Shanahan tree guys to come in and figure this darn thing out. But you got to get rid of Balky if you're going to get one of those guys. I do firmly believe that.
I think Balky, like Shad Khan's going to have, even if Shad Khan wants Balky, you're not going to get any decent head coach candidate outside of like a guy who wants maybe Mike McCarthy, who wants a third shot at being a head coach.
Who is not a decent head coach candidate.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to get a good head coach candidate. You're going to get, or end up with like a Gus Bradley, somebody that nobody wants. Like you're not going to get a good head coach candidate. And I don't think Shad Khan wants to waste Trevor Lawrence. And obviously you're going to throw everything at it. You're going to bring someone in here that you think can, win with the quarterback that you just spent a lot of money on, and you're going to roll it that way. So I don't know, man. We'll see. I
also saw somebody bring up Flores, who I think he's a fantastic coach, but his like legal battles with the NFL right now, the lawsuits and kind of how he was not unable to support Tua, I think that's enough to pretty much say no, even though I think he's a great coach.
Yeah.
I heard Kamala Harris is looking for a job. Think there's any interest there?
Yeah.
On the interest of that, we're going to go look
Kamala
at Bet US.
EVP.
hey, there is a potential opening there, right? It's a potential opening. All right, guys, we're going to take a look at this video sponsor, Bet US, guys. Bet US, they're going to lock you up with a 150% deposit bonus. And, we always do our, weekly look at the NFL, at the lines of this upcoming game. Let's see. Let me get this fitted right. The Jaguars are playing at home against the Minnesota Vikings. I think Jason's going to be at the game holding up a welcome home Cam Robinson sign. So you're going to see him.
That's actually going to be like Kevin O'Connell. I called it first. That's the sign that I'm going to hold up.
Like or less Sam Darnold. I was right on my draft prep of you. Something like that. You'll see Jason doing something crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But Jaguars have the white helmets. That'll be fun. The white helmets on black jerseys. Interesting look, but I guess a lot of people are wondering, like, why are you wearing the white helmets with the black jerseys? It's because you can only wear alternative helmets with an alternative jersey. And a lot of people say, oh well, the Bengals wear it with their white uniforms. The Bengals, the white uniforms that they wear with the white helmets, it's actually not their regular home uniform. It's their alternative uniform. So the Jaguars primaries are teal. They already had their alternative jersey with the throwbacks, so they had to wear it with the black uniform. So that's why the Jaguars are not going icy white on this upcoming game. So the Jaguars will be wearing the white lids. They're already at practice with them. You can check them out. I know I posted it, but a bunch of other people are kind of posting it out there too. So, the Jaguars will host. They're 4.5-point underdogs against the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings coming off our Sunday Night Football slot, which, by the way, thank God that was slotted out. Didn't even think about daylight savings. I would have been beat by the end of that game. But, the Jaguars 4.5-point underdogs. We'll go around the table. I guess we'll start with Jordan. Jordan, when you look at this game, give us some thoughts and, give us your prediction. 4.5-point underdogs. Over-under is at 45.
I think I have the Jaguars losing. I think they could be competitive in this game. I mean, they've been competitive how many weeks in a row? They've been close, but I think the Vikings, when I look at the matchups, look at Jaguars trying to slow down Justin Jefferson, that's terrifying. But Kevin O'Connell against Ryan Nielsen, Doug Peterson, Press Taylor against Brian Flores. Those are bad matchups. Very bad matchups. Injured football team. Cam Robinson coming to town. I'm going to take the Vikings. I'm going to take them with the points. And I'll say under.
Okay. All right. So I guess I'll go next because I'm not the expert gambler that Jason is. And, I'll cheat off his sheet. I'm not going to lie. Okay. So Jaguars, this one, I don't know. Like the Minnesota Vikings, they're team they led by a great defense. I don't know because obviously I think they're going to be in the playoffs. I don't know how deep they'll go just because as decent of a year that Sam Darnold is having, he's still improving when it comes to playoff football. It'd be really hard for me to, week one of your wild card weekend, if they're playing the Eagles, to really say that Sam Darnold is going to be able to go in there and beat Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. But they're still a good football team. We're still in their pathway to get a good seed in the playoffs. So with this one, I do think that the Jaguars will lose. I'm not going to pick the Jaguars to come off with any more upsets. I tried to pick the Jaguars to beat the Eagles last week. Almost came true with the prediction, but we beat the spread. So that's pretty cool. But with this one, I have the Jaguars losing, but I do have us covering the spread. Okay. I think the Jaguars will make it interesting. I think the Jaguars wind up losing by 3. And I will go ahead and I'll go with the under. Just the offense is too unpredictable for the Jaguars. So, yeah, I'll take the Jaguars losing, but covering and going under 45. Now, let's see what gambling expert Jason has to say about this matchup.
I'm going to predict something that we haven't seen yet. Okay.
Oh.
Jags defer the ball. They go down 10 to 17 points. They can't move the ball at all in the first half. They get the ball in the second half. They do a little bit of magic. They go no huddle. They make it competitive, score some points. They do something stupid in the second half to lose the game by 4 points. So I'll say the Jags lose. I say the Vikings cover, and I say it hits the over because of the second half shenanigans.
Man.
Yeah, something we've never seen before. Love that.
Something we've never seen before, bro. So, yeah, I think I have another prediction. I bet the Jaguars, the defense will play good for one half, and the same half the offense will play bad, and then they'll flip roles. And then all of a sudden, the offense will play good, and the defense will be bad. And then we find a way to lose the game. So, those are just my predictions. But yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and get yourselves in on some of the BetUS action, we can go ahead and I don't know. I like to put money on the Jaguars. I'm just loaded with money because I just win all my bets. So I put $20 on the Jags to cover the spread, and we're gonna confirm it. And you guys are gonna see a lot of money pop up in my account next week. And we're gonna be rolling, we're gonna be dealing, and we're just gonna be basically rolling all the way through the Super Bowl, just winning all these bets and betting Jaguars because that's what smart people do, right? We bet Jaguars. But
if you're into player props, let me give you a little tip here. Take the over on yards for Aaron Jones. Take the over on
Jordan
catches and yards for Jordan Addison. Take the over for catches and yards on Jordan Jefferson. Take the over on yards for the offense. Take the over on touchdowns for Sam Darnold. And then take the over for pancakes by Cam Robinson. That'd be my advice.
Well, that's not very optimistic.
No, it's not. It's not optimistic at all. No.
So Jordan Addison, that's the guy I think this week.
Yeah.
Garuda says,
why are we so negative? What kind of question is that? Are you kidding me? Have you not watched any Jaguars games?
Are we not 2-7 right now? People say they'll comment on my streams like, dude, you guys are so negative. I'm like, dude, we're 2-7. Or people will be like, dude, you complain too much. We're 2-7. We suck.
Saquon Barkley hurdled a guy backward. All right, that's all you need to know. Fred Taylor said it was the greatest running play he's ever seen in his life. Fred Taylor said that, and it happened.
Devontae Smith had one of the best catches you'll ever see.
Shad Khan told me before the season this was the best roster and best coaching staff ever assembled, and I believed him. I got sold a complete dream that turned into a nightmare.
You got sold
Okay,
a timeshare. You got sold
I
a
am
Bunch of
straight up
malarkey.
not having fun. And I'm also not negative. I picked the Jaguars to beat the spread. And I bet money on it. So, yeah. That's why we're so negative, okay? We're beat down. We've been Jaguar fans forever. It's not very fun.
I mean, it's also just realistic. Like, we've been positive about what you can be positive about. We've said Trevor Lawrence is still the guy. We've lauded Tank Bigsby and Brian Thomas Jr. We've talked about Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen playing good football. Boy, Aluakin has played mostly good football. Tyson Campbell has played very good football. That's about it. Jarian Jones is having a good rookie year. He's starting to play a lot better.
until he gets hurt.
Okay. Cam Little. Logan
He
Cook.
gave up 2 sacks.
Cam Little is not blocking anyone.
Oh,
Yeah,
Cam
bro.
Little. Cam Little's not Walker Little. My bad. I thought they were
Cam
the
Little's
same
a
person.
kicker,
I thought they were the
bro.
same person.
Cam Little and Logan Cook balling out.
Okay,
Absolutely.
we're grasping for straws here if we're talking about kickers.
Bro, we have
I'm
a
just
Pro
saying.
Bowl long snapper, and we're being negative.
That's all you have to be positive about right now. Those
Okay, can we
players that just
revisit?
mentioned.
Can we revisit the Anton Harrison, the left tackle thing? Are we thinking about it now?
I
Or
think
no,
you might be
no.
on to something, Jason.
After seeing Walker Little be abysmal last week, we're still just gonna be like, yeah, let's give Walker Little. Let's roll with him at left tackle.
I'm down to try anything now, okay?
I thought he settled in.
I don't know. Maybe
Josh Sweat walked him back.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
I mean, I know we signed a defensive tackle to play defensive end. What if he can also play left tackle? You know? I mean, everyone's so
corner.
everyone's so in love with Travis Hunter. I mean, he's 2-side wide receiver, cornerback. Why don't we put Eric Armstead in at left tackle? Make him earn his paycheck.
I'm not against long-term
Eric Armstead
Anton
left
left tackle. I just don't know what you're doing at right tackle if you do that.
Yeah, we're
Put Cam Little there.
Yeah. That would be quite the sight.
Just cut block every snap. Can't be worse.
Oh God, we are just down. And this is one reason why I didn't want to trade Cam Robinson in a perfect world. Now the tugboat got hurt, which, by the way, that sucks. This is his first NFL start, and boom, he's air casted after getting hurt, in the preseason in 2023. Definitely shout out to Brandon Sheriff. That's a tough dude, man. He may not be playing his best football of his career, but he's tough and he'll play football. And
Still a good pass protector.
He will play football. That he will do.
Thank you, Jason.
I think they were going to trade him and
a helmet.
Oh man, yeah.
I think they were going to trade him and Kirk, but they couldn't trade Sheriff after Cooper went down.
Yeah, obviously the rumors out there, it weren't even rumors. I mean, Adam Schefter reported they were going to trade Christian Kirk, which, for me, I wanted to trade Christian Kirk just because I looked at his dead cap hit number in 2025 and it's like 15 million, I think. It's something crazy. So I was like, get that off our books. I wasn't super interested in trading for Cam Robinson because he's a unrestricted free agent next year. And I think he had the potential to get some, maybe a higher comp pick for that, especially if the Jaguars decide not to spend a lot of money. But I don't know. We're rudderless ship right now. We have no idea what this team's going to look like in January. We do know we won't be playing football in January, so clear your January plans. So yeah, it's not a great situation. Not being negative, but it's not a great situation right now.
You're so negative, Dalton. I can't watch you anymore. You're too negative.
Are you gonna turn me off?
Yeah, no. I'm gonna unfollow you. I'm gonna unfollow you.
What's negative is watching the Jaguars in my mood. Dude, that first half, oh my God, dude. That was some painful football. Luckily, they made it fun in the second half, okay? I ended that game like, you know what? That was kind of fun. I know we lost. I know this is the same episode every week where we lose, but I just asked for entertaining losses, and it got fun in the second half. I mean, Trayvon Walker bouncing through guys the way he was, that was
cool.
A beastly run.
That was cool.
I even enjoyed.
He looked like he was like a high school That looked like a high school play.
Dude,
A
it
dude that
did.
plays
Like
both
just the
sides
best
of
player
ball.
out there that's going
Yeah.
D1.
Yeah. Dude,
It's a
I
bunch of
even
scrubs.
I don't usually like watching highlights against the Jaguars, but dude, that Saquon Barkley thing, I
Dude,
could watch it every day.
That was nasty.
That was nasty,
Yeah.
bro.
The
Oh,
ball's
man.
on him to do a reverse hurdle in the NFL.
And he also made 2 people miss right before that.
Yeah.
That's a
Iconic.
special player.
And how about, I just love to poop on the Giants. Xavier McKinney, they let go, helps beat the Jaguars. Saquon Barkley, they let go, helps beat the Jaguars. You think they could use those two guys right now?
Evan Ingram helped beat the Jaguars.
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram helped beat the Jaguars? No. I don't want to talk negatively too much about Evan. I mean, had
Nah,
some
you
mistakes, but he's
Yeah.
awesome. He's one of those guys I should have included when I was talking about positive impacts. Because I want him around as long as he can be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Till
agree.
the wheels fall off, right?
Yep. How about Brenton Strange not seeing the field?
Yeah.
9 snaps.
That's another thing.
Against a team that stays in nickel when you're going to just roll Austin Trammell out there for like 30 plays or whatever.
Come on, dude. Austin
What are we
Trammell,
doing?
Tim Jones. Come on. We don't need Brenton Strange. We got undrafted guys.
This is why I like cannot stand preseason, because like Jags fans get so like in their, dude, we gotta keep Trammell. And then all of a sudden these guys make no impact. And if they do see game action, it's not in a good, it's because you guys get so injured. And obviously Trammell, that punt return was awful. Like this is another thing, coaching thing. Why isn't Brent Strange seeing the field? I mean, he's had really stepped up when Evan Ingram was out, and then all of a sudden he's playing really good football. Last week he bowled over a dude. I don't know. It's looking like he's really kind of getting into form, and then he doesn't see the field. It's just, I don't know. The coaching staff is just, I don't understand it. Nobody can explain it. I try to listen to Pete Prisco and Tony Baselli explain it to me. They can't explain it to me. I'm trying to have you guys explain it to me. You guys can't explain it to me. I don't know who can explain it to me. Do I need to get Doug Peterson on here to explain it to me? Or will he just give me coach
can't
speak?
either. He can't either.
No, he's been at a loss in a lot of the press conferences with a lot of the questions, just kind of like, we just got to coach better.
It's a different guy than that showed up here, that's for sure. And I don't know. I think Trent Baalke is, I guess, leeching his energy out, and I don't know. It's just, it sucks right now. I wish it was positive vibes in the Jaguars locker room and felt like players were playing for each other. Maybe when we get Dewey back, everything will change. Okay, he's an inspiring guy.
Good point.
So maybe that's the reason we're 2-7. But
you can't be worse than Antonio Johnson. So that's a good point.
All right, well, we're done with the negativity, everybody. Really appreciate you watching the show, guys. We have both Jordan DeLugo and Jason from Jaguars United on here. You guys can see their Twitter handles there. Also, guys, at every show, I link in the top of the description box the link to both of their channels. Jordan is out here pumping out content like crazy. Jason just is very up and down sometimes on the content. Sometimes you get 4 live streams a week, and the next week you'll get nothing. Okay, but the consistent thing about Jason is that he is always out here on Club Jaguar.
That's right.
Never calls in sick.
That's
never goes crazy exotic vacations to Alaska or
yeah.
Tennessee or wherever on the globe Jordan is
exotic
going.
vacation to Tennessee.
Yeah. Hey, and
pretty exotic.
A big shout out to the fans that are here when the Jags are at their lowest, because us three, we like can see the view counts and how they change based on the Jags performance. And I always say the Jags fans that are here now, like these are like diehards, and like you guys are like us. So shout out to the chat that's here. I love this. I love being on Club Jaguar. I don't know where to rank Club Jaguar, but if I had to guess, this show would probably win the electoral vote and the popular vote. If I had to guess, it would probably win both.
I think you're accurate in that. And one thing I always tell people at this time of year, it's like, the Jaguars, it obviously sucks right now. It's not fun, but one day in our lives, the Jaguars will win a Super Bowl. And when that day comes, the people that are on this Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. stream, when the Jaguars are 2-7, you guys are out here ingesting all this Jaguar content and sitting here watching all the games. When the Jaguars finally do make it big, you guys will have so much more enjoyment out of the Super Bowl victory than the guy that started watching in November and December and started bandwagon when the Jaguars got good. Okay, like you guys may be annoyed. It's like, oh, you're just a bandwagon. Like, trust me, you guys winning that game will feel so much better for you guys. So just take pride in just knowing that. Okay.
Damn right.
But yeah, so Jordan, what you got coming up on Gin Jag?
Who knows? I'm trying to keep it fresh with some of the stuff, like, because like I know people don't really even care about like a game preview right now, right? It's like we suck. That's
We did what, 5
people,
minutes of game preview on here?
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
So like, I probably will do bold predictions. Maybe I'll look at some GM candidates. I already did a mock draft and a head coaching search this week.
Man, you're in off-season mode, baby.
We'll do our best. We'll do our best.
All right. So, Jason, what you got coming up, man? Can we expect the Friday night stream from you?
You're muted.
You're muted right now.
How about now?
There we go. We're good.
As of now, Friday night stream is on. I'm supposed to have big game James Coleman on this Friday night. So that could be fun. That's my boy. He's coaching high school football, and they're playing Thursday night this week. So I've been trying to get him on for a couple weeks. So he's going to be on this Friday. That being said, he was supposed to be on last Friday, and I canceled. So nothing written in stone. But follow the channel. I go live usually 9 p.m. and it's usually nonsensical. So if that's your thing, that's what we do.
It is a great time. So yeah, like I said, guys, both of their channels are linked down in the description box. Go subscribe to both of them. Let's keep this Jaguar community growing. Also, guys, on your way out, please do me a huge favor. Drop a like for me. And also do want to give another shout out to the stream sponsor, BetUS. Like I said, 150% deposit bonus using promo code YouTube150. And that's up to $2,000. So go over there, have some fun. Bet on some other stuff. I mean, like maybe not Jaguars, but you can do all kinds. We bet on darts last week, and I don't know if we hit or not, but I'll check to see what we got on it. So, all kinds of fun stuff's going on there. But yeah, Jaguars are going to play the Vikings this Sunday, and hopefully we can improve to 3-7, and maybe we can start talking playoffs. Are we back?
Playoffs?
Winning streak?
8 straight
Let's take a
wins.
look ahead at the schedule.
8 straight.
I will say, last away games, I like to jump into UCF's live shows. So if you haven't, don't do those. They're a lot of fun. So just to give you a little bit of a pump up there, Dalton, the live shows during the game are amazing.
Yeah, and I can tell you guys that the Jaguars are losing. We like to debate Trevor Lawrence because that's what the chat's all about. And if we're winning, it's a lot of fun. Honestly, it's a lot of fun either way. We just kind of sit there and talk shit, like it's like we're all friends. It's like we're all friends watching the game. I try to do some play-by-play. So I know a lot of people are out of towners and maybe don't get the game. So I try my best to kind of speak to them, say what's going on, and then give some expert analysis right after the plays. So yeah, with all said, appreciate you guys all for being here, and you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Good night.